Hello, Herping to the Extreme here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the care for hatchling turtles in general. Okay, I have 2 hatchling turtles in this. I'm not sure, it's either 20 or 30 gallon tank. I can't remember what I bought it as. I'm going to guess 25 or something. Somewhere, it's either 20 or 30, I'm not sure. But it's a great size for 2 little hatchling turtles. You just need to know before you go out and just buy a turtle from the pet store, like normally there'll be red ear sliders or something. Red ear sliders get very big. You're going to need a very large aquarium for them, or even an outdoor pond or something if you live in a warmer climate. You're just going to need a lot of space for those turtles. So if you want to look into buying a smaller breed of turtle, like a male map turtle, or maybe a male musk turtle, just mainly male turtles, but just smaller breeds. Just do your research. Make sure you do all the research that you can before going out and buying a turtle, and make sure you buy all the stuff you need for it before you just go out and grab it, so you're not coming home and keeping it in an inappropriate enclosure. Alright, but let's get started here. You don't really need substrate on the bottom of the tank, but if you want it to look nicer, then you can work with it and find a substrate that you like the look of. Just make sure it's not, like if you're using gravel, make sure it's not something big that, or not something, you want something bigger. You don't want something too small that your turtles can fit into their mouth and choke on. Just, if you do, make sure you use like river stones or something like that. Or I use sand. I don't know if there's any problems with using that or anything, but I've never had any issues with it. You can keep live fish in there, but don't be disappointed if you come home and they're gone. But my turtles seem to not mess with the fish, so I got a couple little rosy red minnows in there. But you can just set up some little hiding places for them, some fake plants or live plants. Just give them stuff to explore in the tank. Don't let them get too bored with their tank. You don't want just a plain old boring tank. Another thing, you're going to need a lot of filtration. Turtles need filtration. I have an out of the tank filter here. I'm pretty sure it's a like 20-gallon filter or something. Just you replace the cartridges and stuff like that. And then back there I have a little 10-gallon submergible filter, just for like a secondary filter for a little extra filtration. But as you can see, it stays crystal clear in there. The glass is a little dirty, but I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, just give them stuff to explore in their tank so they don't get too bored. And make sure you just do plenty of research. Another thing is your turtles are going to need lighting, UVB especially. You need to get a nice UVB bulb. You're going to need a dome light like this with a ceramic top so that it doesn't melt or crap like that. I have another one right here for a heat bulb. That's also recommended unless it's really warm in your house, but the number one thing that you're going to need is the UVB bulb. All reptiles need UVB. This is a 10.0 UVB little spiral bulb. You can't really tell, but it's about 3 months old. You're going to want to replace your bulbs about every 6 months, because then they start going out. Even if they're still shining light, the UV starts just going out. But so you gotta make sure you have UVB. Make sure you have a basking platform, whether it be a log or a piece of driftwood or even some rocks or something. But if you stack up rocks or anything, make sure they're very secure to where your turtles can't knock them over on top of themselves and stuff like that. And make sure you don't have stuff that your turtles can get trapped into and drowned. You may not think they can drown, but they can drown, obviously. But just, they need to be able to get out and completely dry off. I have a floating little thing right there that's not at all necessary. to have a floating thing, but you just need a log or a rock or anything to allow them to get out and bask in the light for an appropriate amount of time and completely dry off, just to help them get a lot of the UVB. But anyways, you're going to want to treat their water when you fill up the tank. Clean out the tank like every couple weeks or so, unless it stays really clean. It's really your choice, I guess, but you're going to want to put Reptisafe in there to get any chlorine or bad stuff out of the water that could harm your reptiles. That's about it. Really, just make sure you have proper amount of heat for them, and UVB for sure. A little dome light, an appropriate basking area where they can completely dry off, good filtration. Make sure they have a good amount of space. You're going to want, I'd say well, what they usually say is you want 10 gallons of water for every inch that your turtle is. I myself think that's a bit much, but I can't complain with that. That's a very good rule to follow. Just make sure they have plenty of room to swim in. As you can see, these guys have plenty of room. Oh yeah, another thing is diet. This is aquatic turtle food growth formula. This is for a little bit bigger turtles. But that's for when they're bigger. Right here is the hatchling formula. You're gonna want to get this for them. This is really the best thing for them. Helps them grow and has a good amount of protein, and it's 43% protein. This basically helps them grow. That's the point of it. Also, there is Reptimin Baby floating food sticks. You can give that to them also. But don't feed them shrimp and krill and stuff like that every day. That's more like maybe once a week to even like once a month treat. Just make sure you give them I'd say 6 to 8 of those little hatchling pellets every day, and then once they get probably over 4 inches in shell length, move on to a bigger pellet like this. It's for 2 to 6 inch turtles. It's also growth formula, and then give them like 6 to 8 of those pellets every couple days. And you need to have the lights on for at least 10 hours a day. Just give them enough time to bask a lot and stuff. But that's the basic care for hatchling turtles. Just make sure before you go out and buy a turtle that you have all the proper stuff for them that I've basically told you everything about in this video. But don't take this video as like everything you need to know. This is just a basic on like a setup idea and just a run through of things that you need, but you really need to do all the research you can on that turtle that you're planning on getting, and just know everything that you need to have for them and how much you're going to spend. And I'm not going to lie, it's not too cheap. You're going to be well over $100 easily after getting the turtle. I mean, it could be cheaper than that, but just depends on the stuff you buy and if you make it yourself. But there's always cheaper routes, such as making stuff yourself. Like for my bigger turtles, for their winter tank, I have a homemade turtle topper for them. You can see my reptile video for that. That's just their winter tank, but this is my hatchling tank before they go out into the turtle pond. Just make sure, I cannot express this enough, make sure you do all the research you can before going out and buying a turtle. Alright, comment, rate, and subscribe, and if you have any more questions that I didn't cover or anything, just message me or leave a comment.